Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Yo, y'all like the content I've been dropping, the direction that my channel is headed in. I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them, alright? Now, today's topic is actually long overdue, okay? I wanted to make this video kind of as a way to break down my thoughts about Kevin Samuels, okay? So if y'all don't know anything about Kevin Samuels, he actually just recently passed, rest in peace. He was like a professional image consultant, and he actually came onto the YouTube scene like around 2017. And what he was doing back then was he was giving style tips, professional tips, dating advice to black men. And basically the idea was to get black men to be more CIA. In other words, would be confident, intelligent, and assertive. And by becoming more CIA, Kevin was coaching men on how to maximize their life, how to get more money, better success with women, and overall just be the highest version of themselves. In doing so, you will become high value, which he has a whole definition on high value man, and you will be able to attract women who are FBI, which is feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. So I think Kevin really got popular on YouTube when he made a video talking to a woman, and he basically called her average at best. And then from that point, you already know, internet took it by storm. He went viral, and then his whole show got more dedicated towards talking to women. And he actually just passed away, so I feel sorry about that. And if you ask me, I just find it funny that whenever a person is exposing stuff about the society or talking about women or being a whistleblower in that sense, those people just out of nowhere die. You know what I mean? And he was pretty healthy. He was like a cancer survivor. So what I wanted to do is just basically give my thoughts about Kevin Samuels and the things that he brought up on his channel. So first things first, I agree with literally, I would say pretty much all of his talking points, all right? And the reason being is like, if we talk about what he was saying to men, if you're a single dude, for example, you need to be working 60 hours a week. You need to be focused on some type of long-term vision that you have for yourself. You need to put at the top of your priorities health, success, money, and basically grinding for a vision for your life. You should be trying to expand your network and become the highest version of yourself possible. If you think about all the stuff that I put on my channel, I've even referenced Kevin Samuels a few times in my old videos. It's right in alignment with all this stuff that Kevin is talking about, right? I really don't see any negative in being a content creator who is trying to motivate men to be a better version of themselves. Where is this going to have a negative effect? The only way that I can think of a channel like mine or Kevin Samuels or whoever, why they would come under fire or why they would not be looked at in a good light is because we're talking about something that is against the mainstream narrative. Right now we're in a time where it's all about empowering women. So if you're a dude who's talking about empowering men in any way, shape, or form, you're going against the grain of what the media is pushing as the main narrative. So I really felt like a lot of the things that he was saying to get men to change their style, stop wearing Jordans, he has Suit Saturday and stuff like this. Where is this really going to lead you down a wrong path if you follow it, right? So that's first. Secondly, what he said that I totally agree with, a lot of his talking points dealt with calling out the fuckery that's honestly going on in the dating scene between specifically young black women or black women and black men. One of the things he was kind of talking about with the women was he would get them to explain what they're actually wanting or what their gripe with men is. Then he would try to figure out Where are these women at physically? What is your height? What's your dress size? What's your weight? Right? So you can imagine that being questioned in this manner and then maybe even being redirected. Most women are not used to getting this type of dialogue. Not in today's world where everything is kind of catered to how women best feel. You know what I mean? You have a dude like Kevin Samuels who's basically putting women's feet to the fire and asking them what they want, getting them to answer what they look like, and then also being logical in his breakdown on how it's very unrealistic that said woman would actually reach the opportunity to be with a dude who's, let's say, above 6 foot, earning six figures per year, uh, is basically holding it down in so many different categories. Why would that man pick a woman who's maybe overweight, got a kid 2 or 3 from different men, has never been married? You know what I mean? Like, he was calling out a lot of the stuff that we see in the dating scene that men typically just have to tolerate. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you're a man and you're a black dude in America, you thinking about, let's say, getting with a black woman, this is no heat against black women, but it's just a fact. I experienced it myself. I look around at my homeboys who are still single. I look around at other dudes who are married, and you know what I mean, they had to change gears. Like, they either had to date outside their race, they had to leave the country, they had to lower their standards, they had to become a stepdad. Like, they had to do all these different things besides being able to just find a level-headed black woman who doesn't have kids, who is ready to get down with a man's program. So I liked a lot of the things that he did to kind of give women a reality check, because with dating, social media, all these apps, most women are walking around with an inflated sense of ego. And I feel like he was doing everything rationally to bring that ego down to a more realistic level. So that's what I would agree with as far as what Kevin Samuels was talking about, point number 2. If I bring it down to the third point, he was basically being an advocate for marriage. Okay, now we're living in a time where MGTOW, hookup culture, and basically any ideology that goes against typical male-female relationships, all of those things are being promoted right now. You know what I mean? Like, you have a promotion of gay and transgender agendas. You have a promotion of women entering the workforce, focusing on their career, and then later on trying to find a man to settle down with. You have women literally freezing their eggs, talking about they're going to have kids in their 40s. You know, you can bring up facts that Kevin Samuels brought up about a woman's prime time to actually have a kid is in her early 20s. And you got women who will give you all different types of exceptions to that rule. Oh, well, I know a girl who was 42 and she had a kid. Oh, well, my homegirl or my coworker, she had a kid at 43. Like that's always an option for every single woman out there. So you can see that there is an agenda to kind of go against the grain. And I liked how Kevin Samuels was promoting the idea of marriage, and he was also giving it a more realistic context. It wasn't with this Disney fairy tale type of setup. He's explaining what a man's supposed to do, what a woman's supposed to do, how y'all supposed to come together, and how that union is the best environment for kids to grow up in, learn from, and flourish later on in their life, having that as their experience as children. So I think that was pretty good that he was doing that, because what other, let's say, dating coach or life coach or person on YouTube is really promoting the idea of black men and black women getting married and taking care of things? You actually have a culture that's promoting everybody who does anything against these type of values. So I thought that was dope from Kevin Samuels, and I totally agree. I mean, I've basically been in the same relationship ever since December or early 2011. Okay, Now, it's not to say that being married is just the end all be all. You have a lot of people who are broken as fuck, and then they think that just by getting into a relationship, they're going to be able to solve all their issues. That's not always going to be the case. It's more ideal for you to be, let's say, a young man, focus on your vision, doing what you got to do, and overall self improvement. Then you need to have criteria on what you expect from a woman. Then, whenever you actually come across this woman, you know what I mean? Y'all date, y'all have fun, y'all laugh together, y'all travel, y'all do all this cool stuff together. And then, when it's time for y'all to really get serious and put a title on the relationship, you go forward with the engagement. You eventually get married. And a lot of people think this is like the end of the road here. But Kevin Samuels was talking about how not only is it important for y'all to get this thing rolling towards marriage without all this dating around and, taking things lightly. Once you actually get in a marriage, then you need to remember your roles. You need to understand that a man should be providing, protecting, and taking care of those things. A woman should be, let's say, offering nurturing, support, and kicking in with her motherly instincts whenever y'all have kids. So I thought that was dope from Kevin Samuels, and I totally agree. Being married, you will grow and mature in many different ways, and the main thing coming from black culture that's preventing this is, I don't know, it's like an inherent fear. There's a lot of different thoughts like, oh, my woman will take everything if we split, or oh, the child court or the family court laws are designed to obliterate men. Just a whole bunch of nonsense. If you ask me, like at the end of the day, the idea that Kevin Samuels was pushing when he said "marry before you carry," dog. I mean, who could really argue with that? Who could really argue that it really makes sense for you to get married, then have your kid? I mean, think about it for yourself. Just think for a minute. Where does that make sense? Where would that be a bad advice? So that was another thing that I liked about Kevin Samuels. Now, there was another thing he said that was very controversial, and people took it, in my opinion, the wrong way. But I would like to break down what he said right here, because I felt like my man got slid through the mud after he actually made this statement. And a lot of people took it totally out of context, did not really truly listen to what he was meaning with it. He said something on his channel about like a high value man doesn't cheat, he just exercises options. So a high value man doesn't cheat. That's what made a whole bunch of people flip out, start having an attitude with Kevin Samuels. But I totally get what he means. What he means is hypergamy, which is the idea that women are always trying to level up. They're always looking for the best possible outcome from their dealings with a man. So that's the reason why most women, even when they're with a man, are going to be keeping their eyes peeled for a better opportunity, i.e. a man that's more attractive, makes more money, fulfills more of her desires, and honestly just seems to be a more suitable match. That's what's driving women, and it's hardwired. It's not malicious in their brain unless they're like a hoe or like a woman who's a prostitute or something like that. But for the most part, women are kind of wanting to be with the highest value man that they can attract. So Kevin Samuels is motivating men to become more high value. And in doing so, what will happen is your options will increase. You will have more suitable women that you can actually be with and run a relationship with. And you will be more attracted to them for reasons such as, all right, let's say you on your purpose. All right, a woman is naturally attracted to a man who's showing his ambition because he's using his powers and strengths as a man to self-actualize and attain what he wants. Second thing is you're going to make more money. If you're making more money, then you have more options. You can provide more. You can live better. You can take better care of your health. Who's going to deny that more money is better for you? All right. Another thing is, the average man in, let's say, the United States, as Kevin Samuels said, makes about 50 grand a year, maybe even a little less. So if you're in the top tier of men making $100,000 plus consistently, that makes out of a room of 100 people, you belong to that group of maybe 10 or 12. So that also gives you an advantage. Now, what Kevin Samuels is saying is about not, you're not cheating, you're just exercising options if you belong to that camp of 10 to 12 guys. What he's mainly trying to say is that women's nature dictates that the winners, i.e., the top members of any male group, are going to be who all the women actually chase after. And if a man is basically living with you, taking care of you, paying the bills, and even gave you a ring, he obviously loves you and wants to take care of you. But what Kevin Samuels is saying is, from time to time, even if that dude decides to exercise the option to mess with this girl over here, as long as he ain't bringing home no disease, no drama, he's not embarrassing the family, he's showing you the ultimate level of respect and kind of keeping it under wraps, women should not be tripping. And what he also explained was some of the highest value men in our society actually have these type of situations. They have a wife and they have a few mistresses, but the wife herself is not even really tripping because he's not putting it right in her face like that. You know what I mean? He's doing it behind closed doors, away from the family. He's keeping it totally separated. So, and that's going back to his original point about what women expect is way too high. Everybody's trying to act like they're above an average man, but even if they were to get a high value man, they're not fulfilling what that high value man actually wants out of a woman, and they're not understanding or okay with the fact that from time to time he may step out. So that's my thinking on Kevin Samuels and his channel. I totally agree with many of the points that he made. I don't want this video to go on too long, but I think I covered like 4 strong points. You know what I mean? So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe. I'll holler at you on the next one.